The Trader Cobb Crypto Show, talking business in blockchain.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Today's guest, I've got somebody called Bill Ottman. Now, Bill is the CEO and co-founder as well of a project called Minds, and he's been in this space for quite some time. So I'm really looking forward to getting inside of this man's head. Thank you so much for your time today.
Great to be here, man.
Good. Hey, look, let's just kick this off by giving us a bit of an introduction to who Bill Ottman is and what you've done to bring you to where you are.
Sure. I mean, I basically have always been really fascinated by bringing people together. And Mine's actually started off as a live event platform. And then we weren't even really doing much on the web at all. I was very focused on, physical events and have organized music festivals and stuff like that. But I sort of realized that the internet is really something to be embraced. And I woke up to this sort of rift within the internet between free, open source, decentralized technology versus proprietary, centralized tech. And how, the proprietary surveillance, centralized stuff is sort of in this extraction model, exploiting users, no transparency, no control. And then there's this, beautiful history of free and open source software, peer-to-peer. I mean, the internet is originally peer-to-peer. I mean, stuff like email, most people used to run their own email servers. But then we sort of moved into these silos of Facebook and Google. Yeah. And now things are starting to roll back with the emergence of Web3 and blockchain and other distributed systems. And I used to be really obsessed with the food labeling movement, food transparency, organic food. And there's actually strange similarities between transparency in food and just physical goods in general, hardware and software. And most people just don't realize that. They think they're using an app, and it doesn't matter. It's an app, but they don't think of it like basically GMO apps or like dirty apps. You don't want to eat a GMO, nasty, chemical-filled tomato. You also don't want to use an app that is invasive upon your system and stealing your data and infecting you, essentially. So yeah, I just got on that run, and then we're seeing the emergence of these new open platforms, whether it's Bitcoin and Ethereum in the currency space and distributed database space. You have GNU Linux. You have open source privacy-focused browsers and search engines and social networks. And so we're doing the social networking end of things.
Yeah, right. So coming back to what you were saying there about the fascination of bringing people together, the music festival type thing. So with Minds, how have you, I know it's about bringing people together, and I'll let you talk to that in just a second, but what's the main goal? Like, we all build a business, we all build a platform for an outcome. Now that outcome will continue to morph and shape as we get closer and closer to achieving the first original goal. But what's the sort of focus for Minds right now? What are you trying to create there?
I think simultaneously we're trying to evolve civil discourse and basically provide a more free and open platform for communication without censorship, but also, obviously abiding by the law, but certainly not censoring in the way that major networks are. Because that actually makes the radicalized parts of the internet worse, even though that they're making things safer, they're not. But simultaneously, we're trying to free the web and spread this idea of transparency in your code, having content and data policies that respect people's freedom. And so we're also trying to spread the word in that realm.
Because it looks, I mean, when I look at the website, it looks like, so it shows featured posts on the minds.com website. And I'm surprised that you were able to get that domain name, mate, minds.com. That's so simple. Well done. Hopefully you didn't have to spend too much money to get it. But there's a lot of art here, a lot of pictures of what people are doing. Look, it's got, this might make you cringe, but it's got a YouTube, Instagram, Facebook type vibe, Pinterest type vibe, all sort of molded into one. Now, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or a complete insult, but those.
Yeah, no, I think that is a compliment. I mean, I'm not a hater towards the functionality of Instagram and YouTube. I mean, they're brilliant designers and engineers that work at those companies. I mean, they know how to build great products. The problem is that they are corrupt. Yeah. They're basically all of the good design and software is shielded and sort of shrouded in almost like radioactiveness that could be changed. They could open the code. They could have better data policies, more transparency about what's going on, more encryption, these types of things. So I think that what's happening is the major social apps are converging into similar sets of functionality. So that's why Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, they all do the same stuff.
Yeah.
You can go live, you can post video.
Way, right?
Slightly different way, but generally speaking, it's converging towards this sort of consensus from society on what we want in our social platforms. But the legal framework, the licensing framework, the transparency is all just pathetic within those companies.
So let's touch on Facebook since we're there now, right? Obviously, there's this talk of this Facebook token and them coming into this space in that way. Now, if I'm at Facebook and I'm a visionary, which, I mean, assumedly some of these people are, because Facebook was a vision. I mean, they basically, it wasn't something that was invented by Facebook, the social network in that sense. It had been done before. It was just executed so well by Facebook. They won the race. Right. Okay. Now, in that regard, there's visionaries there, right? There's people that are employed purely to think about the future. They'll have all sorts of futurists. Now, if they're looking at blockchain, digital assets, and the way that this environment works and the decentralized process that can occur, do you think that if they put enough time and research in to make it less corrupt, make it more beautiful, make it a utopian place for us where we can transact together, we're private, all these things can occur, right? They're not selling our data to big company because, you know what, they make more from the individual now that actually use the token, and however they do it, I don't know. But do you think this is another possible paradigm shift in the social media marketing space right now if Facebook was to really capture it with both hands and run with it?
I mean, anything is possible, but unless the code is free and open source, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's not because the spirit of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is that if it's not an open blockchain, it is not a long-term scalable solution. Okay, is it good that they're moving in that direction? Maybe, but it's also would potentially be giving everyone just a misperception of what it really is. So, the framework of how it's done in terms of openness and transparency, I think, is the essential factor. And yeah.
And a real big hurdle there as well is the shareholders. Let's be honest, they're not going to get that through because as soon as it's going to be really difficult for them to do a nice, transparent, open token offering. They've got to be in line with their shareholders, and that when you're a publicly listed company, it's a different ecosystem. What you want to do, it's not about what you want anymore, Mr. CEO, Mr. Founder, Mrs. Founder. It's about doing the right thing for the shareholders. That's the responsibility of being a publicly listed company. Now, with that,
of course, but I don't think that there's maybe perceived disalignment between those incentives. But actually, if you're talking about long-term sustainability and market share, because Bitcoin and open source is basically bursting into the tech industry at a rapid rate and taking market share, you know, from a short-term revenue perspective, there may be some drop, but long-term, you need to be there. And if you're not there, you're just gonna have to change it again in the future.
So I suppose, is that what Minds is really focusing on? Is right now a non-PLC, some of the smaller networks that are coming out, that are listening to the people that are really hearing the decentralized community and the new wave coming forward, because there's not many people. You look at millennials now, right? I'm a millennial. I'm 35 years old. I'm just on the cusp. I think it's 1980, I think, and before. Now, this is a huge demographic, a massive populace of voters. It's also been, these are the children of an era that's seen no war, prosperity, growth, and a lot of wealth. Big shift in education. Now, more and more millennials are coming into this space, being interested in this space, embracing this space, studying it, learning it, and being involved in this space. As we know, the demographic is really between sort of 25 and 45 in crypto. That's pretty much your, and younger, but that's your age group right there. Everybody who knows how to use one of these can understand how to use this to a certain extent. Now, with that uprising, do you think that someone like Minds, a company like yours, and others, because there's room, Instagram's big as well, there's plenty of room for others to work, but do you think that by you guys capturing that sort of a mindset, that sort of a demographic, you're really going to be able to have a chance to, I guess, step up and really shake it to the big boys?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that people are going to start demanding token rewards for their contributions on different, I mean, there's no reason that, we're so used to kind of being exploited and have that being the cost of the service. That's been the typical Silicon Valley model. Quote unquote free, but it's not free. The opposite of free. So I think that will become in higher demand. I think there's no reason for, as long as the app is just as useful to people, why would people not want more back from the networks that they're giving? It's going to happen. It's not even really a matter of if, it's just when. And it's how long it's going to take us to get the word out to make, a critical mass and get enough people to migrate over. A lot, we're all so addicted to these legacy Silicon Valley networks, and for, good reason. They provide valuable services, but like today I deleted LinkedIn, I told you. Yeah. That was, that was the last one. I've deleted all of them now. And you think you need them, but the reach is actually not even that great on any of them. And it's just, when you feed them, they're not going to go away. So I'm taking the stance that unless they transform in a meaningful way to incentivize me to come back, they just don't deserve the energy. And we waste so much time on them, and that wasted time, that is the energy which is driving their metrics, which is keeping them in their place. So, people, it is definitely possible. And it's just about being aware of, do I really need to be using Safari or Chrome right now? Like, couldn't I be using Firefox or Brave or Tor or something like that? It's pretty much just as good. And so, I would imagine within the next 5 years, we're going to see radical shifts of power on the web.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing as well. Competition's really important. Now, coming back to what you were saying about these platforms hosting content, for me, I'm someone who puts out a huge amount of content, both across podcasts, video. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. We've got a team that sends it out and sends it out across these platforms. The amount of content we're putting out, the amount of listens, the amount of views, these platforms are benefiting from that. And I see it in some of the exchange models as well. Some of the crypto exchanges out there right now, rather than paying somebody to create a really good resource center, they just steal someone's content off of YouTube, and that person goes, oh, yay, I'm on their platform. It's like, what do you mean, yay, you're on their platform? They literally just stole your content. But it's the attention that is the currency right now. But the attention, unless you convert that into a currency, however you may be able to do that, it's not really a currency. It's just a waste of time. So a lot of people are chasing that attention currency, which doesn't give you anything tangible unless you get into the stratosphere of followers or you have products built around that. Different model for mine, because we do have that sort of system set up. But from the average average person, how much do you need attention? Like, how important a currency is that for individuals? And I think that's a big part of why these platforms continue to do what they do.
I mean, it is not everyone's craving attention.
No.
But attention can be traded for money. So are you familiar with how the reward token system on Minds works?
No.
So basically, the way that our token, so Minds is the ERC20 token.
Yep.
Founders didn't take any. It's all, as equal and fair as possible with the community. Basically, every day for all the engagements you receive, upvotes, shares, comments, referrals you make, all these different types of engagement contributions have a token reward associated with them. Every day, based on your score, you earn a bunch of tokens. Now, one token will give you 1,000 views if you use it to boost. So right. There's a few functions that you can use your tokens for on Minds. One is Boost, which is essentially our ad network, non-surveillance. You can also send them peer-to-peer to other users as like a content monthly subscription, sort of like a crowdfunding model. You can tip people. You can get premium services. You can even use them to launch your own node of Minds, which is almost your own app based on our stack. But the key thing is that because the reach is being strangled on these networks with the algorithm so much, creators, especially like artists and musicians that you've seen, are finding it easier to get traction on Minds than on Facebook and Twitter, because you can use the tokens that you earn just through your participation to boost your post. One token is 1,000 views. Most people aren't really willing to pay for attention. They're willing to earn it. And then most people also, and this is kind of a messed up truth of Instagram and Facebook, is that those companies know that by restricting the algorithm and limiting your likes, making it non-chronological, they know that they're actually causing depression on a certain set of their users, because they know there's a correlation between likes and feedback and virality with dopamine. So people do care about their engagement, probably too much. And so we have to be careful about, not basically over commodifying attention to make it like this sick dystopia where everybody's like so hyper obsessed with their engagement online. But at the same time, I try to step back and just say, look, would you rather be on a platform that's essentially paying you in tokens, or a platform that is extracting and giving you nothing?
And getting paid by you.
And getting paid by you, yeah. So people are finding it easy to gain thousands of followers by just earning and boosting and tipping and receiving tips. And there's other networks doing this too, which have sort of are offering reward systems of tokens. And why would that not be integrated in other networks? It's the gamification. I mean, applying game theory and rewards to social networks and just any app makes a lot of sense.
It completely does. And I'm going to look into it a bit more, because that sounds very interesting to us. There's a lot of hurdles that we have, and I'll speak to you after. But look, Bill, this is the perfect time, after you've just explained that wonderful understanding of why we would use the platform, for you to tell us where you can find out more about it. Obviously, we can't find out more about you on Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, but where can we find out more about the project and what you're doing?
Yeah, man. Find me at minds.com/Ottman, Ottman. You can also find more about the token at minds.com/token. And yeah, definitely hit me up. I try to be as accessible as possible. Let's definitely get this podcast posted on there too. So we'll have to follow up about that and play with some tokens.
Sounds good to me, mate. I'm looking forward to looking down the barrel of minds.com and seeing exactly what we can do together. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, Bill. Thank you so much for your time and all the best luck going forward. I wish you all the best success.
Likewise. Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic day. Bye for now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast is hosted by Craig Cobb. All Trader Cobb courses, products, and tools can be found at tradercobb.com because experience matters.